Hey guys, welcome back to my old tractor shed. I've been out here puttering for, well, 3 or 4 hours actually. Today's got that distinct Sunday morning feel. Everything's nice and quiet. I've just been working away, cleaning up, straightening up. Put some penetrating oil on this a little while ago, although I think it's going to need heat. Been cleaning up behind me. I was watching the video where I pressed it was one of the brake arms off thing, and the press was moving around. I thought I better explain that. I built this shop in 1992, and that press has been sitting there almost 30 years. I cleaned that all away here last week. I washed the wall, and I repainted up above, power washed the floor. I think it's in the view of the camera, that little green thing beside the sink. I used to have a little cabinet there with doors, and I had a power washer in there and a garden hose, and it was made out of plywood. It was bad shape. So I rebuilt that, washed the wall, painted, power washed the floor. I had the press out of there. The floor is just a little wonky there. When we poured that, there might have been some alcohol involved. I don't remember. But anyway, I put a couple shims under there and straightened it up. And my sweetheart, I have mineral spirits in here. I think the trade name locally is Varosol, but it goes under a lot of different names. Doesn't seem to matter how careful I am. I always splash it on myself, and then it stinks up the house. It even makes the wash machine smell. Anyway, my sweetheart doesn't like that. Well, my sweetheart is a quilter and a sewer. She's a pretty talented lady. In the last few weeks, one of her sisters works for a nursing home, and she's been making bibs for some of the residents there. I guess they make a little mess sometimes when they eat. I'm thinking maybe I need one too. Anyway, I was looking at those, and then we were watching a program a while ago, and I seen these guys on lobster boats with these big aprons. And I said to my sweetheart, well, why can't you make me one of them for when I'm working the parts washer? So we went to the fabric store. I don't know how this is going to stand up, but this is a material that you would buy for making a tablecloth for a picnic table. So anyway, the top half she made like she did for the bibs for these elderly folks, but then she just left it long. So all I did was put that on, a couple pieces of Velcro, and then I went and found her a chunk of seat belt, and she sewed some Velcro on there. I did bring it around, I got a piece of Velcro there, and voila, any kind of luck, I'll keep my clothes clean. Now, like I said, I don't know what this material is, some kind of a cheap vinyl, I'm sure. I don't know how it's going to stand up, but if the mineral spirits eat it, well, we'll just find something different. And now we've got a pattern. And then I just attached a couple alligator clips. My thinking is then I can it sticks to that door. That's kind of interesting. The back side of this is fuzzy. Anyway, not a big deal. I can just hang it there, let it drip, let it dry. One other thing I wanted to mention I've decided to do, I made myself a little shelf. When I pulled that press away, I had stuff all over the place. I have some pins welded on there that hold different things that I've made over the years for pressing wheel bearings and stuff. They're just little discs and whatnot. Well, anybody that's got a press knows you end up collecting all kinds of junk. You press out a wheel bearing, well then you take the old wheel bearing and you grind it down a little bit so you can use it to press the new wheel bearing in. They kind of accumulate. Anyway, I've made myself a little shelf. Paint's still a little tacky. I'm give it another coat of paint before I go in for supper, and then I'm going to put it up. I don't know if the camera sees it or not. Thermostat's there. I got my wire rack there. There's a spot. It'll fit. Probably a little bigger than I needed, but I found a scrap of plywood and blah, blah, blah. Made that up. Anyway, I wanted to show you that. So you'll see that probably next time we're sitting here. I'm going to get that up tomorrow. Yeah, so just been doing some shop maintenance. But anyway, this is the clutch pedal I took off a couple of days ago now, I guess. There's a roll pin here that goes through this housing, and I'm sure it's going into that shaft that this clutch lever pivots on. That, of course, is not turning. I'm going to try and get that apart. I'm not going to get too crazy with it, though. I do feel I could probably wash this up now with my new apron and just paint it the way it is. But if I can get it apart, I'll get it apart. I've already taken the other arm off. It's got a couple little bends to it. I'm not sure. I might try and straighten that a little bit. Let's put a little heat on here and see what kind of trouble I can get myself into. Okay, I think I'm just going to set that on the floor so I don't end up picking that up by mistake. Put that down out of the way. Now, I'm going to try, let me go to this camera here. The pin is just down behind here, so I'm not going to be able to get a straight hit on it. I certainly don't want to drive it that way. There isn't enough. If I drive that pin in, I don't think I'm going to get enough to get this out. So I'm pretty sure I got to drive it back that way. Turn my bottles off. Keep track of where I heated it up. Oh, popped right out of there, guys. Nothing to it. Can you see it? Came right out. But I got that hot, so need to be a little bit careful here. And there we are. That wasn't pretty darn easy. Same thing. I'll put this down on the floor with that other piece and let it cool. And I'm actually just going to leave that alone. Not in a big hurry. I did shut those bottles off. Yes, I shut those bottles off. I'll let all this cool off. And then I'm gonna heat this up and take this apart. I've already wire wheeled that and cleaned that. And I think maybe we're going to go back and have a look at that strainer that's in the bottom of the transmission. I want to get that apart, and then by that time this will be cool, and then I can clean up some parts. So give me a few minutes, I'll bring you back. All right, this shouldn't be too big a job. I want to get this transmission line off the side of here, and in behind here, down inside, there's a strainer tube, and I had looked at it probably 3 or 4 videos back now. I had noticed that the holes were, I don't know, they looked to be about 3/16. And at the time, it puzzled me. I didn't really look too close at it, but I thought, there should be a finer screen on there. Anything that's small enough to get through those 3/16 holes is plenty big enough to destroy a hydraulic pump. I got looking at it closer later, and yeah, there should have been a really, really fine screen of some sort on it. You can see it on the one end. I tried to get this other camera in there earlier, and then I went and looked at the video in the house, and I can't do it. I do have a still image, but I'll get it out in a minute, and then I'll show that. Hopefully, I'll get it out in a minute. It should just slide out through there. Anyway, let's take some bolts off, and see what we got to play with here. Doesn't work there. That one works here. Just break those free. And then, I got another Folgers can, coffee can. I like these. I can put a piece of painter's tape on there and I write what it is. Then I can take it to the parts washer and I can clean those parts. I can put the lid on. It's the reason I have to drink so much coffee. I need those containers. 17 millimeter there and 13 millimeter here. There was looked like a lock washer there. It was broken in two. Yeah, there's a lock washer on this one. So I'll have to find a washer. There's definitely some gaskets and stuff here, but whoops. Sludgy stuff coming out of there. Where's my container? Alrighty, something happened with that camera. It beeped at me and I went and looked and it said I had a flashcard error. So I'm not sure how that video is going to work. Anyway, if that little bit of clip was lost, I just removed the bolts from there, removed the bolts from here and started to pull this off. And there's still a little wee bit of very sludgy oil in the bottom of this final drive that I need to wash and clean out. It started to come out of there, so I went and got myself my little catch thing. And it has a long tube. That's interesting. That camera? Yeah. So that would go inside the siphon thing, and lots of sludgy looking stuff there. Let me go get an engineered prying device. I was looking at the pictures in the parts manual, and it shows the gasket and then a flange and another gasket. So I think this is going to be the whole strainer thing. Yep. So let me bring this, let me get a rag and wipe that, and then I'll bring it to the close-up camera. So you can see, let's say there's about 3/16. You can see a little wee piece of the screen that's left here, and the ends is a very, very fine screen that's on there, and it's missing. So another obsolete part that I'm going to have to try and locate. Yeah, I have a couple thoughts on that, but I don't know. I suppose, you know, it seems like an easy thing to do. Find an ultra fine screen, wrap it around there and attach it. How's a guy attach that? Pretty thin materials to be, it's all spot welded along there. I think we're going to be trying to find one from a used tractor somewhere. More gaskets that I'm going to need to make, more parts that I'm going to need to wash, and then paint. Story of my life. All right, I think we're going to leave that here. I think this could be another one of them little short videos, but that's the way it is. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your time. You know, if you enjoy hanging out in the shop with me, if you haven't done it already, click the subscribe and the bell. You know the drill. That way you get to know when I post new videos. If you want to help me out at all, share it with anybody that you think might like it. Click the like button, leave some kind of comment. Tell me, do you think I could, I'm a pretty good welder, but I don't think I'm that good to, maybe TIG welding perhaps. Good excuse to buy a TIG welding machine. Tell my wife I need a TIG welding machine. Leave me a comment. Tell my wife I need a TIG welding machine. Or tell me how you would do that. There's not a lot of room. That fits through that hole. Well, I maybe have about an 1/8 of an inch of play. So, you know, if I wrap something around, I don't think I can put certainly there's no room for a gear clamp or something, but how would you go about fixing that? Leave me a comment. Thanks for your time, guys. I truly do appreciate it. See you next time in my old tractor shed.